right, you got it?
Yeah, here. I got John Morton talking about what went wrong last week. There's a couple back-to-back questions here that we'll listen to because they're all pretty interesting.
All right, let's hear it. Johnny Mo!
The protection, that was the biggest thing. I mean, we can draw up all these plays we want. It doesn't matter. That was the biggest thing, winning our one-on-one matchups. That was big. That set us back. Second and long, third and long. We had a lot of third and longs. But when we did things right, we did really well. That was the biggest thing. It's just clogging the middle up, protection. You can't do a lot of stuff with that. And, we all have our hand in that game plan. And, we would do things differently next time.
Asked David about this yesterday, David Shaw. Yeah. It's not a singular issue. It's one guy here. Every play, it's something a little bit different when there's a breakdown. When you look at that as a coordinator, what is the biggest challenge when there isn't like a single thing to really focus on to fix it?
Yeah, I mean, I told the guys it's all about us and making sure that you really study your opponent, like the guy over next to you. Like if this is the way I've always approached and what I've always told when I was coaching wideouts or just coaching anybody, man, know the guy over you, the insides and outs. When is he turning up? You got to know everything. And we've been pretty good with that. I really think that. It's just that, man, hey, we're protecting, getting the blitz and everything. And all of a sudden, the back, maybe he did this wrong or the tackle did this wrong or the receiver didn't run the right route. That's what's going on. You know what I mean? It's just doing it all together, 11 guys at the same time. I mean, that's where we have to get to. You know what I mean? Because we're not far away. I mean, the score was still kind of close. You know what I'm saying? That's the biggest thing. Just honing in on the details, refocus. Okay, do what you're supposed to do. That's the biggest thing. And we got to fix this up front and protecting the quarterback. And we will. We've addressed it and working on it yesterday and today. We have to do it because if you don't address it, they're just going to keep doing what teams are going to, what we've seen on tape. So that's the important thing. Make the corrections and go on and make sure it doesn't happen again. If it does, then, you got to make some changes. So maybe this is.
Yeah, I just here. It's good. I got to just refresh my memory a little bit. Like I thought Justin threw him like a perfect alley-oop to be like, because he talked about it. It seems like it's a player here, player there. That was like a perfect alley-oop as a coach to be like, I take somewhat of accountability to be like, make sure, that's my job to make sure these players understand. Like you can kind of flip that into be like, hey, I got, even if you don't fully believe it.
Yeah.
That's like a layup accountability comment right there. It's like, he's acting like this offense. It's like the first year all these guys have played together. He's like, well, you just got to make sure they know, you got to study the guy across the line. Like, dude, Penei Sewell, Taylor Decker, they're making mistakes. These guys have been like a part of this offense for the last couple of years. Jahmyr Gibbs couldn't run block to save his life yesterday. On Sunday. But we've seen him play better. Like, it seems like there's just breakdowns for players that don't have breakdown moments are having breakdown moments. And yeah, there's accountability on the players, no doubt. But it's like this offense, okay, you had to replace two guards that obviously goes with Frank Ragnow too. So the interior is obviously different. And I understand you have two young players. I understand that. So Tate's going to have some mistakes. Mahogany before his injury is going to have some mistakes. But like Graham's a vet. I mean, like these guys, and Graham's, they played with Graham at center before, and he's played really well. Like, I know the offensive line is going to struggle, but it's like it seems like there's this shouldn't look like it shouldn't be.
I'll say this, and I'll play the other side of this because I'm not going to stick up for John Morton. I think he needed to step up and be like, hey, I need to be better.
There should be this many breakdowns.
No, see, that's where I maybe I don't disagree, but I disagree a little bit. Like, I do think, and I said this before last week. I said this on Monday. I've said this on Tuesday. I've said this every day this week. Like, that offensive line does need to be a lot better. And I do think, like, John Morton, and this is where he gets, and I'm not going to give him full credit because I think, again, it's the same thing with Shep. Like, Shep has a good defense, and there's things that Shep did is very, very well. I think today he could have stepped up and just been like, that's on me, we'll be better. Even though the defense was the best unit out of all of them, I just think taking accountability after a loss like that, everyone in the building should be doing it. There should be no excuses. There should be no good stats. There should be nothing. It was like, hey, you got absolutely rolled over at home. Each one of you guys should be taking responsibility, moving on, and going out there and proving it on the football field. I don't want to hear these stats. I don't want to hear John Morton be like, oh, it's just one guy who just like, if he just really just, if this one guy didn't miss his block, we would have been really good in all these spots. It's just one mistake on every play. It's like, okay, you're the coach. Figure out how to fix these mistakes. But then I do think there is a side like Jeff, like I think you're fully going 100% on John Morton. I think it's almost like a 50-50 where it's like these guys are NFL players. Like Tate Ratledge, like again, and I'm going to play a clip here in a minute where I agree with John Morton. Like these guys are vets at this point. Like, yeah, you're a rookie. Not anymore. You're on a Super Bowl contending team in the NFL. Like either be playing at a high level or move on. Graham Glasgow, I don't care if you're getting old. Like an excuse of not winning a Super Bowl being like, oh, I was getting old. We lost because I got blown up. Like, I don't care, to be honest. Like, and I think that's where John and them might be coming from, to a sense of like, hey, we are trying our best to put, and they might be changing different things and putting these different schemes in and actually trying to fix it. And it's like Graham just keeps getting blown up. Like Tate will, keeps making a mistake. Taylor obviously injured, but makes a mistake here and there. To where if I'm a coach, I do see a frustration, like with Shep, where like with TA for a little bit, it's like, dude, like remember at the couple weeks into the season where he's like, these are the same mistakes last year you're making. Like I can only take accountability for you so much. And Shep's like, at some point you got to make the play, or we're going to bring someone else in. Like, we'll play Arthur Millette over you if you're going to make those mistakes. Right? Like
I've interrupted the video to tell you, and specifically all those blue collar workers out there, about the best work boot and workwear brand out there. Because you guys know how hard it is to choose work boots specifically. We've all done labor jobs. We've all needed work boots. And choosing work boots means sacrificing comfort or durability. If they felt good, they didn't last. And if they lasted, they wrecked your feet. Brunt thought that was BS. So they built tough work boots that feel great from day one. No break-in, no sore feet. I've wore a bunch of different boots, and these are by far the most comfortable work boots I've ever worn. They felt comfortable right out of the box, which is rare. No long, painful break-ins like these other brands. But they're just not comfortable. They're built to perform. So it's more than just comfortable. Whether you need waterproof, safety toe, soft toe, pull-on, or lace-up, they got options that you can utilize. Also, use the code CT Sports for a limited time. Our listeners will get $10 off at Brunt when you use the code CT Sports at checkout. Head to bruntworkwear.com, use the code CT Sports, and you're good to go. Use the code, and after you order, they'll ask where you heard about Brunt. Do us a favor and tell them it was from our show. You work too hard to be stuck in uncomfortable boots that don't hold up, so they built something better. Boots that are insanely comfortable and built for any job site. I mean, look at these things. Love these. Soft toe. These are beautiful. I ordered these. I'm definitely going to be wearing these when you're working outside, working on different things around the house. You never know when you need them, and they're clean. They're sleek. I love these. So go get your work boots or workwear at bruntworkwear.com. Shout out to them for sponsoring the video as always.
that's where I think I'll be this kind of devil's advocate there for John Morton. Is I think this offensive line does need to figure this out. Like I think he, let's say, the wrong end of the stick because he has a really good offense, but he did get a completely different offensive line as last year. Like the only good parts from last year is Penei Sewell and Taylor Decker's beat up, and Graham Glasgow is older and he's declining. So it's like there's really no pot. Like Kevin Zeitler was a Pro Bowler. Like Frank Ragnow was an All-Pro center. So like he hit 3 Pro Bowlers last year. Ben Judson did. John Morton has 1. And it's typically not the right side of the ball that's been the problem here. So I think it needs to be 50-50. I get what you're saying, but I think that's like, yes, blame needs to be on John Morton. And the man needs to be held accountable. This offensive line, bro, like they have been brutal at times. Like just brutal. And like Jahmyr Gibbs, brutal. It's like I can only give you the perfect scheme. If you don't want to go out there and execute, it's going to come back on me and my job, but what else am I supposed to do? And that's why I think he made the comment at the end. I don't know if you heard the comment where he's like, it has been addressed and guys are being held accountable. And if they don't fix it, we will make personnel changes. So maybe that's what it needs. Instead of changing schemes, maybe they just need to make changes. And that's why the trade deadline I think was even more frustrating, was because of that.
Yeah. No, I mean, I agree. Listen, I'm not saying, I don't want to undermine Frank Ragnow's value. I think he's very
I
valuable.
think it's bigger than
but
we're seeing it in real time.
But I don't think one player should be like the linchpin in an entire offense underperforming.
When it's a top 2 center in the NFL,
that would 100%. Mean every single good
that's literally
offense. No, but that's an excuse. I think if you're going to just say it's all on Frank Ragnow,
it's a fact. It's not an excuse. It's a fact. No, Frank Ragnow is one of the best in the league at what he does.
But that would mean that every single good offense needs one of the best O-lines in the entire league, which is not true. We've seen
but you do need still need experience. You can't have one elite offensive lineman and then expect your whole offensive line, like one of your 5 offensive linemen are actually playing at a high level, and you're expecting that offensive line to play at a high level. That's impossible. Like I can put any scheme together. I can put any scheme. You could put the greatest scheme of all time together, and if you only have one good offensive lineman out of the 5, what are you going to get out of it?
Okay,
probably not much.
I'm thinking. Okay, so the 2 teams that come to mind, like one great offensive lineman, the 49ers have had Trent Williams. Name me another one on their offensive line, and they're always good. Exactly. I'll give you another one. The Rams.
They're not good. They're not that good this year.
Well, they're dead.
The Rams haven't always been good. Their offensive line was trash for years.
Been good, and they don't have they have some decent guys.
Yeah,
you act like you need 5.
Listen, but Jeff, okay, this is what I'm saying though. Like you're putting 100% of the blame on John Morton. Like that's what you're.
No, not 100.
It's not. It's 50-50. Like these guys like we can always like constantly blame the OC or the coaches, but at some point it's like, hey, I'm going to hold some of these players accountable. Graham Glasgow, I don't care if you're 55 years old. I don't care if your knee hurts or if you have a metal plate in your leg. You got to play better. You have to. There's no excuses. And like for media to sit up there and just like, or people on Twitter just to constantly be like, it's only on John Morton. John Morton figured it out. John Morton this. Like I felt like today John Morton should have taken accountability and moved down. I thought the same thing for every coach. So I'm not trying to take that away from him. He should have taken accountability. But for people to just only go at no, it is the offensive line. Like Graham's got to be better. Tate at times you're a rookie. You can't make big mistakes in big moments on 3rd downs. And it's the same thing with Taylor Decker. You are supposed to be a vet and a heel on this team. And you're giving up you're playing bad in big moments. And it's like, Phil, a body can only do so much, Booner. Okay, then that's on John Morton. Get him out of here. That's on Brad Holmes. Get someone else in there. I'm going to blame John Morton, and I'm going to blame the offensive line, but I'm not going to sit up here all day and go at John Morton, and hammer that name until, the nail's obliterated. When it's like, hey, some of these players stuck right now. No, they are not playing good. And I think that's his point to a degree where he's like, I'm holding guys accountable. Good. But also, hey, John, guess what? You got to figure this thing out too. This is a group effort here.
Yeah, and I'm not
sorry.
The
old line gets me. This gets me going a little bit.
It's not that it's not about the O-line. I don't want to excuse the O-line play. That obviously helps. Okay. I know it's not 100% on John Morton, but it's just confusing to me that before this year, the Lions since 2022, they've played 6 games without Frank Ragnow. They're 4-2. So like in the offense
cannot.
But like
I love you so much, you cannot be like without Frank, you should be just as good. They were always going to take a step back.
I never said
they were always going to take a step back.
Outside the top 10, Booner, you said that. They're
not outside the top 10, but that's also why I think it's like, hey, guys need to play better. Like you're acting like it's like no, John has a top 10 offensive line and it's a great center and Graham. I just don't think maybe the guys just on the offensive line aren't as good as we thought they would be. I don't know. Maybe that's it.
But like 3rd down, do we think that has to do with coordinators? I think
yes, I do. Literally, that's why I say it's 50-50. It's 50-50. I'm not making excuses for these players. Like some of these guys got to step up.
No, well, it's like, but
I'm not going to be like, well,
okay, fine.
There's really not a big step from Frank. They should be performing at a high.
I never said any of that. I'm not saying they should be like the best offense in the league. I just don't think you should be the 15th overall, rushing offense in like the top 11 yards per game. I mean, they're better than that.
I agree. And that's why I think
listen, we talked about it. Players make the plays. I get that. Okay. I think coaching matters. It's just my philosophy. Coaching does matter, offensive coaching. Maybe this is where we are going to argue because you think most of it has to do with, or not most of it, whatever, percentage wise is on the players. I get that. But I think coordinators deserve like blame or you
agreed. But I think coordinators get put as the scapegoat 90% of the time by media. And I think you fall into their category where you're like, I'm going to go to the coordinator first, where it's like, hey, some of these players need to take like accountability too. Like they just have not been good. And I think people overlook that because people want to go at the fire John Morton and go at John Morton. Well, last year without, like you brought the stat, they were 4-2 without
since
Frank. It's like, okay, that's cool, but they also had Kevin Zeitler and they've had Jonah Jackson and they've had players.
They had him only in 24.
But this year, but my point is, you're ignoring my point. You're trying to make like a statistical point. I don't care about that. What I care about is the fact that maybe some of these players just aren't good enough. Maybe Graham Glasgow just isn't good enough and he's declined too much. Maybe. And maybe he needs to be better. And like Christian Mahoney before injury, be better. Taylor Decker, if you're going to play and you're injured, be better. John Morton, I'm fully with you on the John Morton thing. I can't sit up here and just let like all of the blame fall on John Morton, 100% of it. Like I'm not a guy that was like, hey, it's just coaches.
I don't,
because like when I coached basketball, I could put the best game. We could have had the best game plan together every single game that we had. If players didn't execute and go out there and make shots, it didn't matter. It's on them. But as a coach, you got to take responsibility for it and say, I'll have him better. So that's why today for John Morton, I'm on your side with that, where it's you have to step up as a coach and say, that's on us. We'll be better. Move on.
Yeah, it's like the Eric Spoelstra in Miami. I mean, Eric Spoelstra always gets his team to overperform, and they don't have all the star talent.
Agreed.
In the world.
I agree with that. I do think though that doesn't mean like when you're not performing, it's just on the OC or the DC or the head coach.
Agree, it's both.
I think like these players, dude.
I think it's more on John. I think it's like 60-40, John.
I don't even care about the percentages. Throw the percentages out. I don't even care. We get stuck in these percentages too much. They both have Blaine, and they both need to figure it out. Players have been bad. John,
you think it's even. That's our difference. That's what we disagree.
Yeah, I just think it's just both need to be better. For all we know, John Morton has put, and I'm not giving him an excuse, but for all we know, he's put out great schemes for these guys, and these guys just have not executed. And they're like, okay, like what? Like they executed last year. Like it could easily just be a change in position. You have all these guys moving around. You have young and new guys in there. There's so many things that could be with. John needs to figure out, Morton needs to figure out a way to coach it better.
Hey, what's going on there? It's Jeff Iafrate. Appreciate you for finishing the video. You can check out one of the videos here suggested or show support by commenting, liking, and subscribing. And buy your merchandise, officialctsports.com.